Welcome back to the Nothing to Something podcast. This is a podcast that's been put together as a platform to share real stories from real people, showcasing their journeys towards success and all the struggles involved along the way. Now, before we move forward, as always, please click subscribe on whichever platform you're listening on, as this will provide you with all the top draw content as well as keeping me pushing to produce it. Now, this week's guest is at the pinnacle of their profession. He's a GB Taekwondo athlete. He's a two-time world champion as well as Paralympic bronze medalist. Please welcome to the podcast, Amy Truesdale. Amy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on. Something very special you've got going on there. We've got a superstar in the ranks. We've got a hell of a lot of wins, of trophies. We've got a trophy cabinet that must be getting rather large at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. That's another story though, because I don't have all my trophies anymore because there was too many. But
Okay, that's a good problem to have. That's a good
yeah,
start.
like decluttered them a bit to say the least. There was far too many at one point.
Wow, that's a fantastic problem to have, I must say. Right, before we get into it, Amy, do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit to let the listeners know who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Truesdale. I am a para taekwondo athlete for GB Taekwondo. I was one of the first I was the first athlete to qualify for the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. Yeah, and I'm a full-time athlete. That's my full-time job.
Amazing, amazing. And I did read that. I actually read that you were the first to do it. That must have been some feeling, some achievement.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was just like tenacious in it's like it's gonna happen, it's gonna go to the game. So, it was a long journey up to it, but I knew I was gonna qualify and, that was what I had my mind and my heart set on. So yeah, it was a good feeling.
Amazing, amazing. Right, let's throw it back. Go all the way back now. Talk us a little bit through where it all started, through your childhood, education, upbringing.
Yeah, so childhood, yeah, I was obviously born with my left arm missing. Doctors didn't particularly know the reason why. As I'm an adult, I've sort of got the knowledge of it's called anatomic band syndrome. So the way my mum would have explained it to me, it's like I was too excited. So when you were in the bag, like you punched your arm out, and that's why your arm didn't grow. So that's like in simple terms of basically what's happened. Like those cells have not formed an arm fully. So yeah, that happened. I just feel like it hasn't really hindered me in any way. I think, don't get me wrong, the way I was brought up long term, it's probably been a detrimental effect to me. Like my dad's ex-army, he was like brutal with me, very sort of regimented, and he did treat me very different to my sister because of my arm, because he did want to push me because he knew life was going to be challenging. So yeah, he was very sort of pushy and, just wanted me to do the same or better than other people. So I think, that drive did help me from a young age, and it's got me to a certain point, but maybe long term, it has probably been a bit slightly damaging. So that's probably the childhood bit of it in a short.
Okay, so we'll get into structure in a little bit, and we talk about morning routines and that sort of thing because, as I say every time we host the podcast, success leaves clues. You had that structure. There was that kind of army or forces type structure at an early age.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was just more of a sort of like a mindset piece. It's like I've spoken to my dad now. I'm an adult, and he was just like, I had to be cruel to be kind with you. So yeah, it might work for some people, might not work for us. But I think he was trying to prepare me for the world and like how other people, might be towards me.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And just on the education piece, so going through school, etc. Were you very sporty then? Were you into the sports side of things? What age did you start Taekwondo?
Oh yeah, like so. I was doing sport from a very young age. So my parents decided, like at the age of 3, I was doing swimming, I was doing ballet dancing, and I was doing tap dancing. Very hectic. And then at the age of 8, I started taekwondo. So I was juggling all those sports at that time, and it literally got to the point where I'd have a dance exam and a taekwondo exam on the same day. And my mum and dad were like, "You're doing well, but can you pick one and just invest your time?" And I was like, taekwondo straight away. So from the
Okay,
age of 8, yeah, it was just taekwondo.
from the age of 8.
The training from then on. So yeah, from age 8 to to my big age now.
So that the passion's been there for a long, long time, it's safe to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think, my reason for getting into it, it was like my parents wanted me to get involved and learn like some self-defense. They didn't want, because my sister did it with me at the time, they didn't want us getting into trouble playing on the streets and stuff. And I was always obsessed with like Bruce Lee movies, so I thought, oh, this is class. I get to like kick people. So yeah, I just loved it straight away.
Oh, mint, I love that. I love that. So just throwing it back a little bit there, you talked about all the sports that you partaked in at an early age with the swimming and the taekwondo you were doing and did you say dance and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. All that was going on with the disability. You didn't know any different. Everything was at the forefront, and you were taking on a lot of physical stuff by the sounds of things.
Yeah, definitely. I think yeah, it was just like mainstream classes that I attended. Like for me,
Mm,
like for Taekwondo, for instance, it's like I'd never met anybody else with like the same disability as myself. So it was just like a mainstream class. I could literally do everything that everyone else could do. The only sort of adaptation I would have needed in like Taekwondo, we used to do a lot of press ups. Like my arm's a lot shorter than the other one, so I used to just get like your kick pads, your focus pads, and I used to
mm.
just put it under that arm to balance myself out. But that was the only sort of adaptation that I needed. Um, so yeah, I still just cracked on like everybody else.
Adapt and overcome. Love it. The mindset developed there from an early age. Amazing. Amazing. I think it's all too common nowadays that people are full of excuses. Any excuse,
Yeah,
do you know what I
definitely.
mean,
I
to
would.
cop out. But
Yeah, like especially for me, like everyone's like, oh, why do you just get on with stuff? Why don't you play on having one arm? And it's like, no, I'd rather just prove you wrong and like find my own way of doing it instead of like, oh, can you do this for me? Like, but that's just not me. Um, but yeah.
yeah, love it. Love it. Great mindset. So before we jump into the Taekwondo full time, talk us through your previous job history. Was there an instance in there where you were working other jobs, etc., or have you always been in sort of athlete territory?
No, like before I was an athlete. So basically, I'll give you a short version of it. I was like an able bodied athlete for over like 22 years with a different organisation to what I'm with now. So it was classed as semi contact ITF style Taekwondo, and I had an extremely successful career as an able bodied athlete. So it was only 2009 that I was introduced to para Taekwondo. So in 2009, I was competing internationally, but it was like a pipe dream, like para taekwondo. It wasn't a world class program. It wasn't going to the games. So for me, at that time, I was working in retail. I was in talks with GB Taekwondo, like I need to get the best training. Can I travel up 3 days a week? So at one point, like I was working in a shoe shop. I was coming up to Manchester training 3 days a week. I was then getting paid like minimum wage to like cover Taekwondo classes at somebody else's like self-contained gym. And I literally had a couple of hours on a Sunday to chill out. So yeah, because I wasn't a funded athlete, I had to do like after school clubs, a lot of coaching just to try and like meet ends meet. Because then I was getting invoices for 700 quid because I was flying to Bulgaria the following week. So yeah, it was crazy times. But yeah, now I'm a full time athlete. All those sort of external stresses are like relieved now. So
All the hard work's paid off. So you've been through the grind as well.
yeah, definitely. It was hard times. Like it's so much easier being an athlete instead of because I was living in Chester as well. That's where I'm originally from. So I was just like doing a lot of bits. But yeah, it was retail for me, which yeah didn't go well for me.
Wasn't for you.
No, I was only 20, so your attitude and the way you are is very different to what you are when you're in your 30s.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
had
with you.
some appalling customers like speak towards me, and then Amy didn't always shut her mouth. She was a bit cheeky. So yeah, retail wasn't for me. I,
Okay, okay. So you've had a
I,
taste of the other side of life. That's good in a way because it really. I assume you realise how good you've got it now. Hard earned, of course, but living the life of an athlete. Just throwing it back there a little bit, Amy. So you talked about competing as an able-bodied athlete before going into the Paralympics, etc., or the Para Games. Do you think that worked in your favour? Going up against able-bodied athletes, did that develop you to a level where when you jumped across to para, you were above where you would have been otherwise?
that's a great question. I don't know really. I suppose you just give me a bit more experience and life experience, and I worked out the sport a bit better. But I think for me, when I first got introduced to like para sport, I remember getting like the invitation, and it was like you've been invited to like the special games, and I was like, special. I'm like, what you want about? I'm not going to that, because to me it's like, well, no, I'm beating people like able-bodied people. But then
Mm.
on reflection, I read through it and I thought, hang about, that's an opportunity for me to like connect and see other fighters with the same disability, and I've never seen this in 20 years. So then I was like, do you know what, this is a new avenue, I'm going to explore it. So that's how I then transferred over. But yeah, I suppose like my experience as an able-bodied fighter would have been advantageous to me going into a parasport.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And that brings us on nicely to Taekwondo. Living it. You're an athlete. You are not just an athlete, but some athlete, I must say. Just talk us through for the listeners achievements so far, a summary of your achievements so far, because I know there's a hell of a lot in there.
Like we'll do the main ones. So like, I think 4 times European champion, double world champion, and bronze medalist Paralympic Games. They're probably the big ones.
Well, probably they are the big ones.
Yeah.
I can certainly say from the outside looking in. Congratulations, first and foremost. That is mega.
Yeah.
That is absolutely mega. Yeah, that takes some doing regardless of anything else. So congratulations on that. Um, sort of moving across to that stage. How was that? How was that? Sort of talk us through the experience of being at Paralympic Games and on the big stage. And was there a difference in your home life after that? Did people know you a little bit more? Was there a little bit more focus?
Oh God. To be fair, it's like it's a sad story for me, because like going into the games, I had the test event in Tokyo the year before, got gold medal. I've been ranked number 1 for like 3 years. I was world champion. Like it was just the perfect setup. And I'll be totally honest with you, I was painfully hard on myself, and I just thought about all the other rubbish, and mentally I was not in the right place that I should be. I had all the physical capabilities in the world. So for me to get a bronze, yeah, it should never have happened, but I've only got myself to blame on that. So yeah, like the stage itself, obviously it was COVID times, it was delayed. So we fought in 2021, so it was only the athletes and coaches there, so you didn't really get the same experience. But
Mm.
no, on reflection, it was the most chilled out, well prepared, best shape I've ever been in, and I should have done better, but I allowed my mind to not get me in a good place that day. So yeah, afterwards it was an awful time in my life. Afterwards, because as an athlete you're funded by UK Sport and the National Lottery, and your performance determines your wages. So after that, it was like, you're now homeless. You've now written off your car, because my wages have been. I couldn't afford to live where I was living. So it was like, I've now got a bronze medal. I've now got to find somewhere to live. I've now got to cope with a significant decrease in my wages. So yeah, I was like upset for 4 or 5 weeks, but I just had to put a plan in place of how can I get back on track, and how can I, get that stability back in my life. Which yeah, I
Mm.
did it, but it was a very challenging time at the time.
Wow, testing time. Yeah, I think you look from the outside in and look at Paralympic Games. You're a medalist. You think it's all sunshine and roses, really, but there's some home truths for the listeners there. Wow. Well, you've got through it. Congratulations. And congratulations on the self-awareness and introspection. I say this all the time when I come across conversations to this effect, to where, for me, they're superpowers. A lot of people make mistakes and don't learn from them. They don't understand where the strengths and the weaknesses lie or where they can improve. So it's quite clear that you're totally aware of what went on there. Safe
Yeah,
to say that you've learned from it, yeah, and we're going to move forward.
yeah, 100%. I think anyone that knows me, it's like personally, I'm terrible. I'm like so hard on myself, and there's no need for me to be like that, because like my achievements don't match the way sometimes I think about myself. But yeah, massive learnings to take from that.
Spot on, spot on. And then we've been through your massive list of achievements. What's the plan going forward? Where do you see going? Where do you see yourself going next?
Okay, so this year is my qualification year for Paris 2024. In order to qualify, you've got to be ranked the top 6 in the world. I'm currently at number 2, and I've got plenty of competitions to help maximise my points. So yeah, the end goal is to qualify this year, and then Paralympic champion in Paris 2024.
Nice, love it. Confident. We're with you. We're with you
Thank
as a
you.
whole. Yeah, not just the Northwest or Manchester, but the UK. We're with you, rooting for you. And what sort of what do these competitions look like? So do you know what? Talk us through your day to day on the training, because I have got that in here as well. I'm proper into my training and stuff myself. Obviously not as a competitive athlete, But talk us through a day's training and talk us through your competition setup. Because you've just talked there about having to qualify or gain points within these competitions to meet up to Paralympics.
Yeah, so a standard day training for myself, probably train say 9:30 in the morning. We'll do 30 minutes like activation before we start. It'll usually be like a 2 hour kicking session, little break in between, and then we'd go into like a strength and conditioning. Whether that's a bike session, whatever. That's a similar theme Monday to Friday. Some of the afternoons we might have higher training days, so like maybe a Tuesday and a Thursday you might do an additional kicking session in the afternoon and then your conditioning afterwards. So yeah, that's a standard week. We have like really good team of people here, so other sort of service providers I'd have access to would be like a sports massage if I need to consult with a physio over any niggles or injuries that I might have. We have a nutritionist, we have like a sports psych. So my free time during the week, I would use that to reach out to these service providers to help my overall like planning myself.
Nice, nice. 2 hour kicking session.
Yeah, sometimes more, but it's usually about two.
And then straight into S&C after that, and then
Yeah,
potentially a second session of the day later on.
yeah,
That's what it takes then. That's what it takes to go to the Olympics, eh?
yeah.
It's that's some serious commitment that on a day to day. And then moving into the competition. So these competitions, how often are you competing?
That's the only negative thing I'll say about Taekwondo. The competition schedule, it is really poor. We don't have like a season. Competitions are happening all the time. So I know now like my next competition's June, and then I've probably got one every month.
Right.
So yeah, it's one of them, and then you'll prepare for a comp, and then they'll go right. We're changing venue. So yeah, but a standard like competition prep, you do a lot more sparring. It'd still be the same intensity, but just not as much of the volume. You know you've done all the good sort of preparation in your general block of training, like a general phase. So this is just making sure you're applying it in a tactical situation. So again, you'd prep that for probably 4 weeks, and then we'd fly out a couple of days before the competition starts.
Nice. Nice. No, he's fantastic. I'm proper into sports myself, so it's nice to know what goes on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? It's a great setup you've got over there as well, isn't it? GB Taekwondo.
Oh yeah, it's stunning. Like it's amazing. Like the facilities are unreal. Like we open it to the public as well. But yeah, every day I walk in, it's like it's absolutely stunning here. Like you feel so lucky. So yeah, we've just got everything under one roof. So it's really good.
Amazing, amazing. And we're gonna go a little bit deeper now, Amy. So, what's your why? And I do ask this every episode. So, why for me is something that keeps you going. It's life. We know there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be tough times. There's going to be struggles. What keeps you going with those 2 hour back-to-back sessions and days when you're tired and don't feel like it? What's your why?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons for me. Like, obviously, you've got your own things that you want to achieve in your life. Like, I haven't achieved everything that I want to in Taekwondo, and I know, like, I'm still on this journey and I'm not where I want to be. So, like, for my own intrinsic reward, yeah, I've got that. But I think the main reason for me is knowing that I'm inspiring other people. Like I speak to some parents, or parents will message me and they'll be like, "Oh, my little lad's got one arm, and like I never thought he'd even be able to do a PE class." And like now I've met you, and like it's really good how I form them connections with people. And it's like you are a role model, even though you might not think it yourself. Because I just think, "Oh, I'm Amy," and I just crack on and do it. But when you get feedback from the parents of how like little things like on my Instagram, somebody will send me a message like, "Oh, Amy, like how have you tied your shoelaces? Like, how have you done your hair like that? How do you do your makeup?" And I'll just send like a little tutorial and send it because that's made someone's day, and they've now got that information. Like tying your hair up for a girl, like the amount of girls that have asked me, but that's life changing for them because
Mm,
especially like, in martial arts or you're training, it's in your face. But if you can learn to do that, so yeah, inspiring and helping other people, that's my why.
love that. Absolutely love it. It doesn't get much bigger than that or much more wholesome than that. And I'm sure there's a hell of a lot of people out there that are taking a lot from you. Um, so talk to us a little bit there through your day to day as an athlete. How do you juggle that with your personal life? So I know what you're obviously someone who's very busy. You've got personal life, you've got home life, you've got this all this athlete, you've got traveling, you've got competitions going on. How do you prioritize?
Um, oh, people say this, but I have loads of free time, in the afternoon.
Okay.
But Like for me, I don't like because I live on my own. I'm just like chilled about the way. It's like I don't need to prioritise it. Like I only chill with my sister and my little nephew, so I'll make that effort and see them on the weekends. So yeah, the balance of it's pretty good. To be
Nice
honest,
one.
like don't get me wrong, I'd like to have maybe a Monday off now and again because there are times like we don't really have holidays as such or like time to yourself. But like I have like a self-care plan. So like for me, if like I can put my nails in or I'll go for a massage, things like that, I'll make sure I manage that into my schedule and that is my self-care plan for myself. So I manage my time while around training.
Nice one. So you live on your own at the moment, you just said there.
Yeah, yeah.
Plans to have a family? Set up a family
Oh
anytime
God,
soon, or is that, is
no.
that, is that not on the agenda?
The thing is, it's just this. Yeah, it's a sticky one, isn't it? It's
With being an athlete,
yeah,
you mean?
yeah. It's just not. Yeah, it's just not gone well for me, relationships and stuff. But yeah, obviously that would be the goal. I don't want to be like 40, sat in my house with all my medals and no fella and a kid or nothing. So yeah, that would be the dream. But yeah, hopefully, I just need to get myself out there more. I'm just too harsh, so I'll get myself out there more, and then hopefully I can put that in place.
Yeah, I'm with you. Plenty of time, plenty of time. Let's go out and get this gold medal first, and then we can reassess.
Maybe.
We just talked about there about your self-care routine. How important is that? Because I know for a lot of females listening to this, it'll be you're a fighter first and foremost, Taekwondo fighter. Um, I know certain people. I've got two girls. I'm a girl dad. I've been told I could have 10 kids and they'll all be girls. I'm convinced at this stage. But I know people within my own family. My mum, for example, doesn't like the kids doing anything like that. I've done a bit of MMA training and boxing in the past, and any thought of my girls doing that or putting the boxing gloves on, even at home, they're not into it. How do you balance that? How do you find your self-care ties in?
What with the training and that?
Yeah, yeah. I assume coming from the household where you grew up and with your dad being the way you mentioned that it was never a problem at home with you growing up.
No, not at all. Yeah, yeah. It's quite a violent household anyway. But no, I think if you get into like with kids and stuff, as long as you're getting them into like a decent club, like for me, like martial arts, it's so beneficial for girls because it's not you're not there to fight. Like if you never wanted to fight or punch someone in the face, that's fine. You get so much more out of it, like the discipline that you get. You're learning like how to persevere in certain situations. You're learning how to be courteous towards your elders, and like there's a big respect value. So for me, yeah, I think that's like massive in martial arts. So I'd like if I had kids, they hopefully they'd be doing it.
No, I'm with you, with you 100%. And there's a message there for a lot of people. I'll be forwarding that clip on to a few people once we've finished recording here today.
Yeah,
And then the self-care side, how do you find the balance? So just step away, go and do your thing afterwards. You said you've got access to massage and physio and that sort of thing as well, haven't you? So good balance there.
yeah, definitely. I think I just like I know for instance like a Wednesday I might have like a bit of an afternoon free. I only train in the morning, so like things I'll go and get a massage, I'll get my nails done, or I'll take myself for a coffee or do whatever. So they're like just certain self care things that I'll do, and I'll make sure hold myself accountable, and even I'll have like a checklist on my phone. Okay, what have I done to practice self care today? Like on my Instagram, for instance, I'll do like Wellness Wednesday. It's like, what are you doing today to practice wellness? And I'll hear what other people are saying. They might be reading a book for 20 minutes. They might be catching up with a friend. So I'll try and instill that in like my Wednesdays as well.
Nice. I love that. I love that. I'm into that sort of stuff. I don't do enough of it myself. Hold my hands up. When it's go, 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 and there's a million things going on and you're spinning plates, don't take enough time out, but it's well needed. It's
Yeah,
certainly well needed. And
definitely.
then where do you see yourself going after Taekwondo? Once it's all done and dusted and you've got all your medals in
I
the cabinet.
going to have my own Taekwondo academy. That's the plan. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, like coaching, I love it. I still do quite a bit now, like on the side, whether it's going into schools or I'll do like quite a lot of kicking seminars when I can get them booked in. Love coaching. I also was like an inclusive taekwondo coach. So like we set up a club where it was children and young adults like with additional needs. So I've done a lot of training in that, and I think being disabled, even though mine's a physical disability, I've done like a lot of studying. I've done a lot of courses into disability, so I've got that knowledge to really help people. So that's definitely the route I'm going to go down. And if I actually pass my anatomy and physiology exam, which I've failed multiple times, I'll be doing Pilates instructing as well, because that's my course that I've been doing alongside being an athlete, is doing Pilates, because I think that's just complements my training really well.
Decisive. You're absolutely decisive there when I asked that. A lot of people
Yeah,
will hum and ha and think about it. I love the
I think for me,
decisiveness.
it's like I'm getting older, and like I am aware, like this is not a career I can do for the rest of my life, unfortunately. Like your body, or that's going to tell you at one point you can't do this. So it's like I'm always in my head. It's like I need a plan B, and I'm thinking of plan C and plan D, because you know, say for instance Taekwondo, I might not coach that. There might be something else I want to do. So yeah, I just need options. So
Lovely. Thinking
hopefully
ahead.
instructor them.
Yeah, see that a lot with athletes in the modern day. I think there was a time where you were some sort of athlete, whether it be a footballer or anything else, and career had come to a stop and it'd be a bit of limbo there. So nice to see that you're thinking ahead. Where's the coaching aspect come from? Is that just something you fell into off the back of being coached yourself?
I think for me, I do enjoy helping other people, and I love development. So for instance, like you'll see a kid that can't stand on one leg, and then the next thing you know how to kick. You know, little things like that. It's just, or even some people haven't even got the confidence to walk into a gym, and then they're doing a full 60-minute Taekwondo session independently. So seeing people develop and helping and pass. I feel I've done Taekwondo too long not to pass on my knowledge. It'd be silly for me to have all this knowledge and keep it to myself and not benefit other people. So that's the reason why I'll go into coaching.
Mint. Anything for coaching and mentoring in my eyes. We should always give back. Right, going deep again. We do like to go deep on this podcast now and again. Are you happy?
It's no. I'd probably say no.
Okay, intriguing.
I'm
Why so?
I'm going against your grain here on your usual.
I'm not. I'm open for it, and I just need a bit of context. That's all.
I
When
think for
when you say
me,
no,
I think for me, like, don't get me wrong, there's certain areas of my life, yeah, I'm happy, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff I do miss out on, and there's probably a lot of unfulfillment in certain areas of my life, whether that is relationships with other people, whether it's not achieving certain things. So, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm happy, I'm grateful for the job I do, I'm grateful for the people I get to speak to and meet. So, yeah, I'm probably happy, but there's some unfulfillment there as well. So I'm just in the
okay,
process of getting that, so I am happier.
right. So we're happy on the day to day, but it's
Yeah,
more a feeling of that fulfillment that you need.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. I've been similar myself over the years, regardless of promotions or other ventures that have been going on in my life. I've always had my eye on the next thing. I've never really been present. It's something I'm working on still to this day. So I do get where you're coming from, but a work in progress, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Nice one. Nice one. And any message for the listeners? So you've achieved a hell of a lot. Let's be honest. I know you're very humble with it. That's clear to see. But you've achieved a hell of a lot against the odds. And you're not finished yet. There's a hell of a lot more to come by
Definitely.
God's grace. Any message for the listeners? Anyone who's out there to try and achieve success?
Oh, so much. It's like, for a start, just like believe in yourself, trust in the process. That is definitely what I've learned. I think, probably Tokyo time, I was way too outcome driven, where it's like, no, trust in your processes. Like, it might not come straight away, but as long as you've got that commitment. Yeah, like for me, what I've learned is don't go on motivation, go on commitment, and that is my mental warm up coming in every single day. It's like, if you wait for motivation, I'm never coming training, because I'm an elite athlete, I'm knackered, my body's sore, but it's like, no, I am committing to this because of my core beliefs of I'm inspiring other people, I'm closer to achieving my goal. So yeah, the biggest thing is dream big, go with commitment, don't go with motivation, and trust in the process.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And the reason why I ask these questions episode on episode is because they say success leaves clues, as we're about to get into it in a minute. And when I get the feedback and it ties into what I've heard previously and my own thought process, I get a little thoughts popping off in my mind. So I absolutely love that. Some real good takeaways there for the listeners listening in. Success is a game of attrition is another one I always say. So it will take time. Trust in the process, as you've just said there. The trusting in the process aspect, Amy, is that something that you've learned along the way? I'm safe to say that you didn't have
Yeah.
that patience in the start.
Yeah, it's not that. I think sometimes, like, for me, it's like I need that tangible evidence. So it's like I need like the proof, like, oh, am I on the right track? Like sometimes that's not good. It's like, no, I needed my own self belief and just continue what I'm doing. But sometimes I need that reinforcement, like, am I on the right track? So yeah, there probably has been times, but now it's like, no, I am a lot more focus driven, and I've got into the mindset of, no, not every day you're going to feel amazing, and not every day, even when you've put in 100%, you might not get the results you want. Like, there's been times I've had stunning performances in competitions and I've still not won, and there's been times where I've probably fought pretty rubbish and then I've got gold. So it's like, yeah, just trust in the process, and you're going to feel different every day, and just commit to it, just commit to the plan.
Nice one. Where do you think that reassurance came from? I think it's just through having gone through the process itself and having lived it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like, obviously my coach has been really supportive. I think my own experiences from having highs and losses in competitions, knowing what my mindset was going into it, like I said with Tokyo, because I was so outcome driven, it's like, well, no, if I'd have just trusted that process on that day, it could have been a very different story for me. So yeah, I've learnt the hard way. So just, reassuring myself and just not doing that again.
Nice one, Amy. Nice one. Right, and we will move on to the episode questions I'll ask each time because success leaves clues, as they say. So, first one, Amy, talk us through your morning routine.
Morning routine. I do a fasted weigh-in every morning. So I do like check my weight. We've got an app at GB Taekwondo, which we will have to do our weight, our quality of sleep, muscle fatigue. So I do that in the morning. Breakfast, turmeric shots, all my supplements. If I'm doing a little Instagram post, if it's something motivational, I'll put that on my story. And then it's straight into training. Once I get into training in the morning, like if I'm in at 10 training, I'm there an hour and a half before, because I like to hydrate myself, make sure I've got some fluids in before I start the session. If I need to strap my knees, ankles, anything, I'll do that. And then I'll get my journal out for the day. So it's a fighting journal. It'll basically be what the date is, and then it'll be my objective for the day. So we're really fortunate. I will get my training plan, say, on a Sunday afternoon, so I know what to expect on a Monday, what my session would be, whether it's a technical or a tactical session, so I can set my objective of what that's going to be. So it might be, today I'm going to work on my movement, or it might be I'm going to stay mentally focused within the session. So once I've done that in my journal, at the end of the first training session, I'll have that debrief from my coach, and I'll be like, how do you think I did today? I'll write down his feedback, and then we will both rate my attitude and behaviour to the session out of 10. So yeah, I've been doing that since after Tokyo, and I've done that every single day. So I'm on a new journal now. So that's just holding myself accountable. So it's like, no, this is what I'm achieving today. This is my objective. So yeah, that's the main thing that I'll do in the morning before training.
Nice routine. Nice routine. I'm loving that journal stuff there
Yeah,
and
yeah.
holding yourself
I think
accountable.
it just keeps me on track, because if I've spoke it and I've said it, it's like, if I get a rating out of 10, I don't want to be writing for. I'm like, no, give me a 9, give me a 10. So you just like push yourself even more then.
No, amazing. Love that. Nice routine. Nice routine. What time do you wake up? I have interest.
Um, this is another area I'm working on. So my sleep is poor. It is like really poor. Do you struggle with it? But for me, I'm probably at the latest out of all the ones you've done a podcast with. I probably get up 7, half 7 for me.
Okay, okay, yeah, still not a bad time. And you're an athlete as well. The body needs to rest. You do need that sleep, especially if it's
No,
not
it's
quality
totally
sleep
true.
throughout the night.
It's totally true. Do need it.
No, good stuff. When you build it up there, I thought you were going to say 11 o'clock or something.
No,
I'm
don't.
joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Right, the next one. What percentage of the time would you say you're on it? I want to say on it, I mean contributing to something worthwhile. So to future goals, either personal or professional.
Great question. I'd say 70-80% of the time.
Nice,
Definitely
nice.
room for improvement though.
Okay, what do you do with your downtime or your wasted time in this instance?
Wasted time. It depends. If I'm being painfully hard on myself, I'll just isolate myself, and I'll like just suffer on my own. So yeah, it's just doing small good habits just to get me out of that. If I do get any intrusive thoughts about myself.
No, good stuff. And that's contributing as well. That's contributing as well. I had this
Probably
conversation
being harsh
recently.
with the 78%, I'd
Yeah,
be on it a lot more because for 78%, I probably won't be where I am now. So I'm probably being a bit
very
harsh.
true. Very true. Very true. Well, no, good stuff. Nice little insight there. And then the last one, name three people, dead or alive, past or present, sit down to dinner with in an aid to make the rest of your life as successful as possible. Who are you three people?
This is such a tough one because there's so many people I can choose. For a martial art perspective, I'm choosing Bruce Lee. Not only that, I
Nice.
think the people I'm going to choose have all like had to overcome like a lot of adversity or racism. So this is why it'd be interesting. So I'd have Bruce Lee. Second one probably Nelson Mandela. I just think like from like a self belief, from hope, from like, do you know what I mean? Like how much
Yeah.
value you'd get from him, Bruce Lee, from a martial art point of view. And then the third one I'm going to struggle with, you know.
Okay.
Feel like we'd be
Okay.
ill, but I don't know.
I'll leave that one with you. I'll leave that one with you. Next time we catch up, I'll
Wouldn't
find out and I'll drop it. Yeah, I'll drop it in somewhere. But no, great choices. Great choices. I'm with you there. I'd love to eavesdrop on that conversation and see what knowledge is being shared.
definitely it'd be
But no, lovely insight, lovely insight. And that about wraps us up. So just before we go, do you want to let the listeners know where they can find you? So social handles, website, etc.
yeah, best place to find me is Instagram at Truesdale Amy. So that's the main platform that I use, and obviously upload all my training videos and everything else that I'm up to.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you very much once again for coming on. You are an inspiration. Congratulations on everything you've achieved so far, and we're rooting for you going forward.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Nice one. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.